This is my Lego Safari Camp, which I recently finished building. This is actually also a bit of a reinterpretation of my first big Lego set that I got when I was a kid, and that was the Dino Research Compound from the Adventurers line. So if you're familiar with that set, you might see some similarities. Let's take a look at the box just so you can see that original set. Here it is in all its glory, the Dino Research Compound. We've got the big structure on the left, the little bit with the crane and the tree down on the right, and a big river coming through it, airplane flying overhead, and all the animals, the dinosaurs in this case, roaming around. So yeah, pretty awesome set. Here are some details inside the lid of the box, which is pretty cool, showing the different scenes. And of course the top of the box with that beautiful green emerald, the minifigures, the whole layout in the back, the T-Rex. So cool, so cool. Okay, so coming back to my model, I wanted to make it like an official Lego playset as much as possible. So I started off with these two tan base plates, which I bought several years ago back when they were on the market, and I recently realized that they're not available anymore, so I'm very glad that I got them. So that's like, it's two 32 by 32 base plates, so I guess it's like the size of two modular buildings. And I've gone with a color scheme of that tan for the sand on the ground, and then a layer of sand green, I believe it's called, for the grass here. And then I've gone with this, I think it's called light nougat or something like that, this kind of reddish orangey color for clay around the water there. And then also on the building you'll see that there's also some dark tan to represent some more kind of dry clay as well as other clay. Then we've got brown representing wood, so this is the wooden structure on top of these clay pillars. So over at this corner you'll see we've got the two Safari off-roaders. I might do a separate video on these because I've basically modified them slightly from the original set. And I was trying to find the closest real-life comparison, and I found that there's a car called the Isuzu Trooper, which is a big chunky 4x4 that's kind of a very similar shape. If you look at the kind of bull bars on the front here, and the colours of these lights, and sort of the shape of the overall vehicle, the closest counterpart I could find to it was the Isuzu Trooper. So that's what I've modelled these on in terms of my modifications. But the original was very close. We've got a little walkie-talkie under here and that sort of thing. And we've got Johnny Thunder on the top there with a tranquilizer gun, because we have two lionesses who have entered the camp, and so they've had to kind of circle the wagons and bring these two trucks in to try and figure out what's going on. So while Johnny is aiming his tranq gun just in case he has to neutralize them, we've got Pip and Reed over here who's taking photographs, because she is always ready with her camera. So that's Pippin up on the top in that kind of cage. This cage is cool because you can actually fold down all of the sides, and I originally designed this to be an ostrich trap because I found that one of these ostriches, actually fits perfectly inside this cage for, if you were transporting one of them. But then I thought actually it looks better as a kind of photographer's cage where you can have someone perched inside it. So I put it on top of the car, and then, there we go. So we've got Pippin in there, safe from any predators while she photographs the wildlife. Over here you've also got the camp area where we've got this nice little tent and the fireplace, the campfire. And then on the right here we've got this big acacia tree, which is quite similar to what you see in the box art on the Safari Off-Roader set. Then in the background there you can see the actual camp, the building, the sort of lodge that they've built, which I'll show you in more detail in a sec, and Harry Kane's light aircraft there parked underneath there as well. So here we have the little campsite area. This is a classic tent from an Indiana Jones set. I haven't put much inside it yet, but you'll see there's a little camp bed at the back there, and at the front they've got this kind of metal grill sort of grate pallet thing that they've put down, and you can see the grass is kind of growing around it. On the right over here we have a couple of ostriches from the Prince of Persia sets, and you can see that they are guarding their nest here, and I found that you can actually position one very neatly over the nest to protect the eggs. So we'll put them back there looking after their nest. And then over here we've got the actual campfire and a little pot with some water in it, just using a transparent round tile there. And it's kind of sheltered by this little kind of briar bush thing, using these vine pieces. And you can fit a snake or another little critter underneath that bush that's just sheltering the fire. We've got a little chameleon at the edge of the water, and of course on the other side of the water we have those two lionesses coming up for a drink. And at the back, under this other bush, you might see there's a tiny frog from a Belleville set, just hiding under there as well. Up at the top I've got all the parrots I could possibly find, including the two blue ones from the two Safari Off-Roader sets, and a green one at the back, which is again from some of my sister's Belleville collection. And you can just about see in the tree there we've got a glow-in-the-dark spider from the Hobbit sets. Now over here, of course, we have the Safari Lodge itself. Now this is very much a reference to the original Dino Research Compound, where they have that massive building, which is the main feature of the set. So I tried to kind of base this on some African architecture. I've been on safari myself in South Africa a couple of times and absolutely loved it. It's one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had in my life. So I tried to remember some of the sites that I saw there. And this kind of red clay soil is very common, and I saw a lot of it. And I saw it used in buildings as well. So I thought the idea with this is that it's kind of a loose structure that the adventurers have just knocked together using the materials they had available. So unlike the original compound, which has sort of specialized arches and fences and looks like it's been more architecturally designed, this one I really wanted to look quite thrown together, like they just built it themselves from natural materials out here in the wilderness. So I've used the nougat colour to represent this red clay, which has come from the riverbank next to the water, where you can see this lionesses. And then I wanted different bits of it, different shades of it. So I've used the dark tan as well to represent where it's more kind of dried out perhaps, and it's got more of a paler, more kind of washed out colour to it, rather than the rich dark colour that you get from when it's wet. I'm not quite sure how this works. I'm not sure why it's wet further down and dry higher up, but anyway, I just wanted to get those different textures. And you can see I've used slope pieces in here, so you get these little cracks within the rock instead of just using normal bricks. Then of course we've got the wooden structure on top. Again, I wanted lots of kind of round beams, as if they just used natural trees and tree trunks and stuff. So we've got these beams coming out of the ends. I'll move the crane. You can see there's another one coming out here. There's this big beam running all the way along the front. And you can see there's another one at the back sticking out there. So just these big log beams poking out everywhere. Then at the top here, next to Dr. Kilroy, we've got this massive thick tree trunk, and there's one of those on either side holding up the veranda on top. And I actually left some leaf pieces on the top of these. So my idea is that they've literally felled a couple of trees and just shoved them in and used them without even bothering to take off all the leafy bits. So then they end up with these kind of dead green leaves for that kind of bit of extra cover, bit of a canopy they can hide underneath or take shelter. Of course we've also got the animal skull up here, just because that's kind of a fun thing, like what you might see on a western ranch, something hanging above the door frame. We've got this little crane. This is fully operational. It's got this little arm which you can use to move it outwards or further in, closer to the wall, and you turn this and you can raise and lower whatever is attached, or a person in this case. There we go, up he goes. And it also is on a turntable, so it can swivel all around as well. I'll take Harry off now. Another fun fact is that down underneath the building, where there's the kind of open area, that is basically a garage where they can fit both of the trucks. And there's also a fun feature: if you turn this beam, you can raise and lower a crane. There we go. So this whole, oh whoops, there it is, look at that. So this whole wooden beam is actually a play feature. You can turn it from the front or the back, and it lowers this winch, because I thought you'd need that in a kind of car workshop to be working on the cars. There we go, that just raises and lowers. I'm so pleased with that. So yeah, that's a fun little feature, and I'll show you later with the cars underneath in their spots as well. So yeah, this is the upstairs of the actual lodge. At the front here we've got a table with various snacks and stuff and a lantern, and then at the back inside, I'll show you another angle, but you can see there's a crate with a cup of tea and some maps and stuff on it. There are some chairs scattered around. At the back there's a little gun cabinet with a rifle and a shotgun, and then at the very back you can see a stuffed mounted tigerer. That's of course from Johnny Thunder's Orient Expedition. And he's stored it up in the corner back there. So that back room is kind of Johnny's special area, and he's also got a nice oriental red rug on the floor. So just a whole lot of things collected from his travels. Then up on the top level there's a little lab where you can do various experiments, and you know, there's a sink and some hand soap where you can wash up, and kind of there's a piece of amber here and a magnifying glass and some tools. So that's kind of the lab where Dr. Kilroy would work with this other lady, Alexia von Baron, who's another character from the original Dino Island. And for my scene here, rather than having an antagonist, I really just wanted to have all the characters working together to kind of track the animals and research them. So this is really a research base. So up here, Alexia von Baron is a good guy, and she works with Dr. Kilroy, and the two of them work on kind of various bits in the lab, analysing various samples and learning more about the animals that live here. Now up here, this is a crucial detail, of course. This is the satellite dish. Now this is a massive downgrade from the one in the original research compound set, but I just wanted something a bit more simple and basic and realistic. So it's just a nice little satellite dish. Down underneath we've got a little radio there with an antenna. And then this telephone wire runs down to a pole. And just like the original set, you can hook a minifigure onto this using a little clip, and they can then ride it all the way down if they need to make a quick getaway, just like in the original set. So this is just connected to a telegraph pole down at the bottom, near where the ostriches are. Here's a better look at the little bit of water coming in here, and the clay around it, and then the grass and the plants, a little chameleon at the front there, and the lioness coming over for a drink. So there we have it. Thank you for watching this video about the safari camp. Hope you've enjoyed it, and please remember to like the video and subscribe for more MOCs and more LEGO goodness coming soon.